Hello and welcome back to SnowRunner, y'all. And the rest of this video can honestly be summed up pretty well by what you're about to see here. However, you'll actually have to wait until a little bit further on in the video to see the aftermath of that admittedly just absolutely brilliant decision. So we've decided to go ahead and go with this second gen today, which is available on just about every console, or at least it should be available on just about every console. Now, check the link in the description box down below for the mod.io page for more info on that. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and check out one of the new North Carolina maps for the very first time, and also do a little bit of exploring because I haven't really had, I guess, an opportunity to do as much exploring lately in this new region as I've wanted to. And when I say exploring, I kind of mean just enjoying the surrounding areas of the map as you drive through it. So essentially like just looking around and being like, oh, that looks cool. I'll drive over there and check it out and see what it is. And of course, let me know in the comments down below if you enjoy these exploration style videos, because they are pretty fun to make and they kind of give you an opportunity to enjoy these maps through a little bit of a different view, a different lens. And I think having that different lens sometimes to be able to see these maps through is nice. It's fun because a lot of the times, yes, I get just about as wrapped up in doing missions and doing tasks and contracts as much as the next person. But at the same time, I definitely think that taking a little bit of a break and just kind of relaxing and exploring around these maps is always fun to do. Now, the map that we are on our way to, I had never seen before I recorded this video. Now, as I record the commentary, obviously, yes, I have seen it because this is post-recorded commentary, but the map that we're on our way to right now actually surprised me a lot because it was a lot more visually diverse than a lot of the other maps that I've seen in this region so far. Not that the maps in the region so far that we've been to already have not been super varied and super diverse, but this one had a lot more, I would almost call them like special, unique features as opposed to some of the other maps, whereas the other maps, they look really, really good, but at the same time, they don't quite have as many features that jump out at you right off of the bat. Now, if the loading screen didn't give it away at all, this map, I know it's called Oviro Hills, but it's a lot more mountains than it is hills. It honestly is. It's so much more mountainous than it is just quote unquote hilly, because SnowRunner kind of has a little bit of an issue, at least I feel like it has a little bit of an issue, where it will call a map like mountain this or mountain that, and then it's just hills. Whereas this, ironically, it has the opposite problem. It calls itself hills, but it ends up having gorgeous, massive mountains that you can just kind of explore around. And you've got this huge bridge that you see right out of the gate. And honestly, that bridge gives you, I think, a really good taste right off the bat of why this map is really visually appealing, because it's got a lot of different design elements that sort of pull you into it right from the get-go, like right when you get here. And 100%, I strolled onto this bridge looking at it and I was like, that's totally jumpable. Now, obviously you would have to have some kind of ramp or some kind of ramp truck. I think there is that ramp with wheels, that one, like, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like, I think it's the ramp mobile that Limes made a while back. That would be hilarious to bring here and just like set it right there on the bridge and actually see if you could make the gap. However, super impractical gap jumps aside, this map I think is going to offer a lot of different ways that, I don't know, it's just, I think it's going to show us a little bit more of where SnowRunner is going in the future, and potentially maps like this might even be a little bit more indicative of what the upcoming Expeditions game is actually going to have in some of its maps. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these new assets that we are seeing here in this upcoming SnowRunner DLC end up also appearing in Expeditions when it releases, or maybe even in future Expeditions content. Now, this is one of the new trucks. If you're not aware of this thing yet, this thing is actually really, really neat, and it's also just like massive, especially from the standpoint of a default truck. but it does look like you have to complete a couple of different objectives before you can use it. So that is worth keeping in mind if you're going to use this as some sort of guide to finding that truck or potentially driving it and using it in your campaign mode. So if you do plan on using that truck, just make sure you approach it with the idea in mind of like, oh, hey, I'm going to need to actually do a couple of other things before I can use this. Now, I did want to see if I could sort of like pseudo rock crawl my way out of here. And it wasn't really all that good of an idea. It wasn't all that good of an idea whatsoever, actually, because I forgot about the whole, default rocks not having any grip. And when I say default rocks not having any grip at all, I mean, look at this. It's honestly like genuinely laughable, like how bad the grip on these rocks actually is. So if you're actually planning on, trying to make some makeshift rock crawling sections out of this map, bring something with like the most overpowered tires you possibly can. And then just maybe you'll have something somewhat close-ish to a realistic rock grip, because for whatever reason the SnowRunner rocks are coded to feel like absolute ice. Like genuinely they are coded to feel like absolute ice. Like there's nothing else that I can describe them as that would actually make that much sense, because when you drive onto them you just lose all grip. And people that have been playing this game for a long time know that the reason why all of these other rock crawling maps that are, mod maps, the reason why they all have different rock models and different rock grip coding is frankly because the coding for the grip on the stock rocks is that bad. And not only is it that bad, but it's coded in such a way to where the game is like trying to tell you like, hey, don't drive on these. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. People drive on these in the real world. And the game is like, no, well, that's just, don't worry about that. We're not going to do that here. That's not what this is for. And I'm like, sorry, but that just doesn't sound like all that much fun. Also, can we take a second to like appreciate how much this thing drifts on pavement? I mean, I know that it's like full-time all-wheel drive and full-time diff lock and all of that good stuff, but it still just constantly wants to get the back end sideways. So if you like sliding around on pavement in SnowRunner, which honestly a lot of people don't, but I mean, you might be able to drift with this thing if you really tried. I don't know if it's something that anybody would actually want to do, but the option is there if you legitimately wanted to do it. So as we make our way a little bit further on down though, make our way past the observatory, make our way past just a couple of other things, I eventually decided that I kind of wanted to hop off the main road and try something a little bit more, I don't know, like a little bit more wilderness-esque, because I've been spending all of this time like looking out at the gorgeous view over the edge of the road, and honestly all I want to do is just kind of take a side trail, and I don't know why it took me this long to do that, because I'm not kidding when I say that I just kept driving. Like I legitimately just kept driving on this road and thinking in my mind like, I'll find something, like some, landmark will pop up or whatever. Also, I just kind of slid into the guardrail and drove right over it. Don't even mention that. All I'm going to say is it happened. It was what it was, and we didn't get stuck, and I'm just going to take it as a win that we didn't get stuck and make our way through from here. Although I will say this looks like it's going to be a garage space, although I think we're going to need to do a couple of other things before we unlock it. So I'm going to need to figure out what tasks we need to get done in order to make that garage usable. But once we get that done and get it made available, it should actually help us out a lot. However, with all of that being said, I hope y'all enjoy the rest of our exploration here in this video. We have a little bit more to go, and I'm just going to let y'all enjoy that as pure gameplay. So that is where I'm going to sign off. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below, and I will see y'all next time.